devastation, the destruction there. Officials in Putnam County are calling this the saddest, most destructive day in Putnam County history.
It's incredible, and really it's all just begun for these folks. You know, losing loved ones, having to grieve with that, and then you're left with a concrete slab where your home used to be, and trying to sort that, trying to get your life together. And like they said, it's almost sad to see that they want that plastic box to put their belongings in. Everything goes in there, and that's all you walk out of with it. Really puts things into perspective. We are still going to continue following this throughout the morning. Dozens of people still unaccounted for, like we said, following these tornadoes. Our team coverage will continue from the hardest hit area, Putnam County. At least 18 people dead this morning. We've got the latest details coming up. Stay with us.
This is WVLT News This Morning.
We woke up and we heard it going, and it was right by our window. We just went to the bathtub.
Devastation in the volunteer state. This morning, dozens of people dead after tornadoes ripped through Middle Tennessee. Dozens more still missing this morning. The National Weather Service says tornadoes hit the Donaldson and Mount Juliet areas, as well as Putnam County. Good morning, and thank you for watching WVLT News This Morning. Today, a state of emergency here in Tennessee. And one of the hardest hit areas, of course, Nashville hit very hard, but also Putnam County, which is where we find our Casey Willis. Casey, good morning.
Good morning, you all. It's hard to believe that it's been a little more than 24 hours since these storms hit. People were literally crawling out of their homes. Some of their homes completely flattened. Unfortunately, 18 people did not make it out of those storms alive. And this morning, we are still waiting to hear from 38 missing people. Officials here are hoping that cell phone service is part of that reason we haven't heard from them. But there are also lots of people at a church here locally, families who have reported missing loved ones, waiting to hear hopefully some good news. If you are searching for a loved one this morning, you can call the county helpline at 931-646-4630. Now, the National Weather Service says this tornado touched down around 2 a.m. Central Time between the city limits of Cookeville and Baxter. That was around 3 o'clock our time in Knoxville. TEMA has now declared a state of emergency, and there are hundreds of crews here from all over East Tennessee. Even Knox County came up here to help. But for the crew members that are living in this community, this has been especially tough.
This is the saddest and most tragic day in Putnam County history.
And again, that number, if you are missing a loved one, 931-646-4630. The church on the hill in Cookeville is where they're asking family members to go. From there, sheriff's deputies will come bring you the latest information as it becomes available. Last night, the sheriff said they had only gone through about 60% of what they had, all the damage here. And I don't know if you can hear the helicopters early this morning. They are ready to start again once the sun comes up. Now, they also need help donating blood this morning. If you can, head to the Blood Assurance. That's 55 West Broad Street in Cookeville, Tennessee. It opens at 8:30 this morning. Now, there are so many stories to tell out here, so many stories of despair and destruction, but also so many stories of hope. And hope is exactly what one man is holding on to after his mom and father, they got an alert on their phone. 2 minutes later, that tornado came through and ripped their house to shreds. They had to jump on each other and hold on to each other for safety.
You see this stuff on TV but never realize it till it happens right here in your backyard to your family, and there's no words after that to describe how you feel. It's just for a loss, and a lot of it, it's just like you don't know what to do. But luckily she got a lot of support. We'll get her back on her feet. And
yeah, Randall there telling us that he is optimistic for the future for his mother. He is just glad that they are okay. And Ashley Boley here now, you were one of the first people on scene yesterday morning. Tell me a little bit about what that was like as the sun came up.
Sure, yeah, so we were over in the Double Springs Utility District in that area, one of the hardest hit. Even the sheriff's office was posting about that here in Putnam County at the time. And of course, we were basically watching these people come out of their homes for the first time since sunrise and seeing it firsthand with them. A lot of despair, a lot of sorrow, loss, confusion, tears and hugs, just so many mixed feelings out here at this time. And we spoke with Rodney Mathis. He's one of the people who lives on Bloomington Road in the Double Springs Utility District. His home is still standing but has severe damage. One side of the house looks completely destroyed. The other side looks completely fine. He's one of those in the middle ground type of areas. And you can just hear how basically his story of survival.
I felt scared because my wife ran into the bathroom and I was right behind her in the basement, and we were getting ready to shut the door. And before we could take 10 or 15 steps, it started and was over.
Now, Ronnie told me that after they were able to get to safety and after the tornado blew through, he was able to go and help different neighbors and make sure that they were okay, get to different people. When we spoke at the time, it almost seemed like he was still in shock. This was probably yesterday early morning when we interviewed him. Couldn't have been past really 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning when we were talking with him, and I think he was still in disbelief over what he saw.
And I think one of the reoccurring things that we keep hearing from people who lost everything, they heard the tornado go through, they went for cover, they came out, and the first thing they checked on were their neighbors. That was the first thing they wanted to do, is see how they could help the people that they love around them. So
exactly.
It's been really tough out here. We are off Highway 70. They actually have all of the destruction blocked off this morning. Crews just say it's way too dangerous in the dark this morning to be in that area, and they just want to remind anyone at home. I know a lot of times people want to come out and help, and they want to see the devastation for themselves, but when you come out here, it's actually hurting their efforts to try to find some of these people. So again, 38 people still missing this morning. We're holding out hope that we hear good news today. We will, of course, hear from the sheriffs a little bit later this morning, but for now, back to you all in the studio.
All right, Casey and Ashley, thank you very much. Yeah, not called the volunteer state for nothing. Definitely a lot of people wanted to help out. Casey, we'll hear from you in just a bit. Thank you very much. Well, President Trump says he will make a trip to Tennessee and visit the impacted areas this Friday. He says he's working with state leaders to try to help as much as possible.
Send our love and our prayers of the nation to every family that was affected, and we will get there, and we will recover, and we will rebuild, and we will help them. And condolences, tough situation.
Well, President Trump says FEMA already on the ground in Middle Tennessee. Once again, President Trump will be here Friday in Tennessee.
And one of the themes that Casey and Ashley were talking about was hope. And then here's just a glimpse of what that may look like for some. This is a picture coming out of Nashville, an American flag standing tall on the top of a pile of rubble.
Well, it is 6:06. Let's get a check of your traffic on this Wednesday morning with our Eye in the Sky, Pete Michaels.
Hello, Harry, Casey, and Heather. Good morning. We're doing very well. In the last few minutes, I've had a chance to double-check Pellissippi Speedway for Knox, Blount, and Anderson County. It feels in a hurry, but we're okay so far. It seems like every morning, I probably don't have to remind you of this, but you line up early with some of the folks on and off of Illinois, Bethel Valley, Scarborough, Bear Creek Road for plant traffic, Y12 in Oak Ridge, and no early morning wrecks. Well, again, a little concerned about a little debris on some of the back roads from yesterday's storms, but I think you'll be okay. Pete Michaels, Pilot. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, luckily since the weather calmed down so much yesterday, any little cleanups that we had in our area were easily done yesterday. Luckily, the threat for severe weather actually stays south of us too when it comes to cleanup efforts there in Cookeville. We'll continue to have live coverage all day, and then Nashville as well. So yes, that severe weather threat south. Very good news today and tomorrow. Actually, that main line of rain and storms is moving across the south now. So let me show you. You can actually even see where the rain reaches further north. The storms are turning here along southern Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. So here at home, we're on that northern edge. So we see more clouds reach up, a couple of showers reach up at times, and then some colder air will actually be coming in to end the week. So cold front coming in to wrap up the week for sure. For now, mostly cloudy. You can see a couple little specks of snowfall, mountaintops, a couple little specks of drizzle is what we've had work into our area. There's a little speck just north of Oak Ridge. right there at the edge of Roane County, right? Little light rain kind of reaching up into southern McMinn and Monroe right now, a little speck near Gatlinburg. It's kind of the key. At least the weather is quieter. We need that. We all need that. Right now, there's a lot of clouds reaching out, like cool breeze, making that 45 degrees feel like 42. So there is a chill when it comes to the wind in the valley and a chill the further north you live. The clouds are just now kind of starting to reach up. Some warmth coming up with those clouds. So it's 33 Pineville, 34 Whitesburg, to 45 Knoxville, and then even 48 Athens. Averaging out upper 30s to low 40s here across most of East Tennessee into the northern part of our area, just running a little cooler. So when it comes to starting the day with that extra cloud cover, kind of a stray speck of rain, morning to midday, afternoon, couple of showers, more clouds, but still warmth. Yeah, we're actually feeding off of some warmth from the south along with those spotty showers and clouds. So that's how we'll go from 41 at 7 to 55 at 11. High today will be 62. So not too bad here. Again, kind of seeing some drizzle reach further north. Clouds will even kind of retreat at times, get you a little partly cloudy view, and then they come back up. So since they're just kind of coming up in waves from the south, mostly cloudy afternoon and evening, especially a little better chance there to catch a spotty light shower further north into our area later in the day. So we're kind of bringing in a few more showers tomorrow before we bring down those temperatures. Latest on that change coming up at 6:18.
Heather, thank you. Well, we're continuing to follow the devastation across Middle Tennessee. 38 people still unaccounted for this morning in Putnam County. Our team is on the ground following the latest. .13 on this Wednesday morning. We're getting another look at Putnam County today.
And that is where our Casey Wheelis is now. So Casey, I know it's dark out there. It's kind of hard to see, but what are you seeing in terms of the damage there and even further into the recovery?
Yeah, absolutely, Brittany. And that's the first thing. You mentioned recovery. Right now, officials said about 60% of the damage they've been able to go through. And they still have to go through the rest of it this morning when the sun comes up. It's hard when it's dark out here. But just walking the short distance we did from the live truck, which is a few feet that way, you could see a mailbox with cement. You could tell it was ripped out of the ground. There's a roof over here. We don't know what structure it came from. Behind me is a gas station that has extensive damage. And it is dark out here, which makes it dangerous, which is why officials are closing off all the areas here around Highway 70, some of the hardest hit areas here in Putnam County. Now, there are 18 people that were killed, as we've mentioned. At least 88 people are hurt, and they are still searching for 38 people. Now, it is important to note that they have given us the names of all the people that are missing. We have those listed on the WVLT News app. If you recognize one of those names, maybe you've heard from them. Maybe they just don't have cell service. There are families here that are desperately waiting for answers and holding on to hope. In fact, they are at a church called the Church on the Hill, where sheriff's deputies are bringing them the latest information. I talked to the pastor there yesterday. He told me, if you pray, please pray, because these families need it now more than ever. And of course, if you are still missing a family member, maybe not on that list, call 931-646-4636. And the latest update we got from officials was last night around 7 p.m. Of course, there was a curfew that went into place. That curfew is still in effect until 8 o'clock this morning. So from there, crews will then be able to get back into some of the most heavily damaged areas to really get another sense of what things look like. And also the good news today, if there is any kind of good news that comes from this, is that it's kind of drying out a little bit, which makes it a little easier for crews to search and people just maybe to find one last piece of their home that they can take back with them. Guys, back to you.
All right, Casey, thank you very much. Obviously, we'll hear from you in just a bit. You and Ashley stay safe out there this morning. Well, that same storm also hit Morgan County.
Yeah, we want to bring in our chief meteorologist, Heather Haley, to kind of break this down for us, because the National Weather Service determined that a tornado touched down, and they have to be the ones to confirm it. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. And that is the key. So even in the Nashville area yesterday morning, we were tracking this whole system because we had the visual aids of folks who were able to catch that on camera. It was a tornado before the Weather Service actually went out and said, okay, this is how strong it was. By the time it made it to Morgan County, it was an EF0. So the same storm cell actually dropped a tornado a couple of times, and ultimately we ended up with what was determined an EF0 in Morgan County. That would be winds up to 85 miles per hour in this case. Actually, some of the video that Gwendolyn Dupree got yesterday with the National Weather Service while they were assessing, you can kind of see just what 85 mile per hour winds can do, toppling trees, damaging barns, really just leaving a pile of mess in its wake. The Weather Service is saying that that would be the worst hit area for East Tennessee, and Neil Richardson and his family got the worst of it.
It's just a inconvenience, but other than that, it's nobody was hurt, and we're okay.
And obviously, after hearing and seeing all of these stories coming out of Nashville and Cookeville, to say that there were no injuries or major structural damage, I mean, that's definitely some good news. So after all of this is said and done, I mean, guys, you can even see on a map, like I mentioned, the same storm cell is what dropped that tornado in Nashville. Then it basically lifted back up, came back down in Cookeville, lifted back up, came back down in Morgan County. And then by that point, it had weakened to an EF0, but still obviously caused some damage.
No, absolutely. Amazing to see how that kind of, the power that kind of storm has to start in middle and travel so many miles.
Yes, yeah, and that's why, you know, yesterday morning we were doing some of those updates. We have a tornado warning, Cumberland to Morgan County. We did end up with the tornado warning in Knox County yesterday morning, but by that point it was just a severe thunderstorm. But obviously it had a history of producing tornadoes, so that urgency was there. But then something to keep in mind, they're still assessing the damage in Nashville, so they're just kind of rating parts of town right now, and then they'll ultimately be one big story that'll come out of Nashville from the official ranking from the Weather Service. Today they're hoping to get to Cookeville to assess that damage, so hopefully it's really all about safety, and obviously they're still in recovery mode right now in Cookeville.
And Heather, I know we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about this, but you were talking about the ratings and how the National Weather Service actually looks at the damage that was done, and that is how they determine at what level the tornadoes were, is that right?
Yeah, so it's about the structure itself. Obviously, if you had a large concrete building that's demolished, oh, well, that's going to take a lot stronger winds than a barn or a mobile home or some trees. So they actually rate it based on the actual structures that are damaged.
Okay, Heather, thank you. That's good to know. Thanks for that clarification.
Thank you, Heather. All right, well, communities all over banding together to rebuild. After all, like we've been saying, we are the volunteer state.
Yeah, that's right. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee joining in the effort. He was out in Nashville yesterday.
We're called the volunteer state, and there's a reason for that, because Tennesseans have a real spirit of generosity and service to one another. As governor, now I get to see it happen for real right here on the ground, and there's been a profound turnout.
And he says first responders from counties all over the area have come in to help out.
It is 6:18. Let's get back over to Chief Meteorologist Heather Haley with what we're dealing here. And we were talking about just over the yesterday, almost eerie to see that mild temperatures, blue skies, calm, and you're going, but look what just came through.
I know. And the only plus side to it, kind of like what Casey said, is at least now the cleanup recovery efforts are a little easier because the weather is calmer. So that's still the case today. Like I showed you, that severe weather risk is south of us. So that's why I wanted to kind of stress that, is for those that are, maybe you're like me, right? Our church does a lot of mission work. Head to Cookeville, right? Volunteer, get out and help. Today here at home as well, mostly cloudy, couple of spotty showers, got that little speck of snow, mountaintops, couple little specks of drizzle, southern McMinn and Monroe and Loudoun County. So not completely dry, just to take the rain jacket with you, kind of just right this morning with a chill in the air. And then in your forecast, we can kind of warm up nice, but keep the clouds in and out, right? Some partly cloudy to mostly cloudy, especially this afternoon, more consistent cloud cover, and still this spotty shower. Kind of a stray speck morning, spotty light shower afternoon, evening even trying to reach a little further north. So that's because of that system that stays south of us. We're just kind of feeding off of it with clouds and some spotty rain. So all in all today, yeah, you'll see a lot of clouds. You still hang on to the warmth. The colder air is on the way, so I wanted to stress that too. If you're looking to get outside, today would be your better day. From 42 at 8 to 57 at noon. High today will be 62. End up with what really is a nice mild afternoon, but that rain staying south, grazing our area with a few showers, a few more even tomorrow. Then we have cold air drop in from the northwest, so that's what gives us a few snow showers to end the week. Okay, just in the mountains, but still, that's just evidence of the kind of stark difference in temperatures between today's 60s, tomorrow's 50s, Friday's 40s. And I want to stress the winds are turning. So with that cold air coming in, obviously cold enough to produce some snowfall in the mountains, light snowfall, but we're going to feel it in the wind. 47 will feel even like it's closer to the upper 30s because of the chilly winds. Then this weekend, everything kind of calms back down. So we still have a cool, kind of chilly Saturday, cold mornings, and then we start warm back up. You know, get back to those low 60s, holding off rain until later on next week.
All right, Heather, thank you. Well, a slow start turning into a major victory for one candidate during Super Tuesday.
In news from around the nation, former Vice President Joe Biden won big on Super Tuesday. He won more than half of the 14 states up for grabs, including Tennessee. CBS News also projects Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders did win his home state, as well as Utah and Colorado. Right now, Maine and California have yet to be called. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren came third in her home state. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg's lone victory of the night, the territory of American Samoa. For more info on the primary and local elections, we do have more information for you over on the WVLT News app.
The Knox County Sheriff's Office needs your help finding 88-year-old Everett Irwin. We know he's from Berkshire Boulevard, which is in Powell, and he has dementia. Irwin's brother reported him missing. Officials don't exactly know the last time that he's been seen, exactly how long he's been missing, but if you do know where Irwin is, please call 911. This morning, our team coverage from Putnam County of the deadly tornadoes.
Crews here in Putnam County are waiting for the sun to come up so they can continue to assess the damage here. 38 people missing in this county alone. We have the latest live from Putnam County.
Good morning to you. If you're just waking up with us, we are continuing to cover the deadly destruction across Middle Tennessee. This is Putnam County. You're looking at the drone video that we have there. Hundreds of people are hurt. Many people are missing, but it's amazing, Harry. You look at this video here and you see so much destruction, and then across the street, homes that have not been touched.
Yeah, I mean, concrete slab on one side, maybe a mailbox down on the other, if that. It's truly just remarkable stuff to see. Chief Meteorologist Heather Haley joins us now. We were talking earlier, also remarkable just that we do have clear skies and blue and calm winds, stuff like that. Just amazing that after all that goes through and then you're left with just a mild day.
Well, and I guess that on the plus side to that is, at least now, since they are still in recovery mode in Cookeville area, and hopefully the National Weather Service will be able to go out and assess the damage there and to determine the rating of that tornado. At least the risk for severe weather stays to our south. So as far as recovery, as far as assessment, cleaning up, everything goes, that risk stays away from us today. So we can at least maintain pretty mild weather, keeping the risk for severe weather south of us today, tomorrow. We do have a cold front on the way to end the week, but it's not going to be very strong. So we will have more clouds kind of moving in today. Still a nice day today when it comes to our local weather. Partly to mostly cloudy at times. A little bit of a chill this morning. Honestly, the rain jacket's kind of just right today because we have a couple of specks of light rain reaching into our area. For now, clouds kind of fanning out, and you can see the rain kind of grazing McMinn and Monroe, a couple of specks, Cumberland and Blunt, not all of this even making it to the ground. That's because we're feeding off of what is rain and storms south of us. Here at home, we're seeing the clouds catching a light shower, catching a light cool breeze. Makes 45 in Knoxville feel like 42. It's actually even 50 right now, Athens though, so actually the warm air is still moving up from the south. That's why today can be a mild day, helping you out later on. I know right now you're in those mid-30s across southeastern Kentucky, chilly for you, but today is the day that we can kind of calm down, stay warm before we start to cool down with a few more showers. So the latest on those changes coming up in your weather on the 8s.
All right, Heather, thank you. 25 people total are dead after devastating tornadoes ripped through Middle Tennessee. Dozens more still missing this morning.
Our Casey Willis live in Putnam County now with details on those recovery efforts as the sun starts to come up there. Casey, what's the latest from Putnam County?
Good morning. I think that's the hard part today. Yesterday, a lot of people were in shock, right, about what happened, still assessing what's going on, and now they've had a night to kind of take it all in. And so as that sun, Harry, as you mentioned, rises this morning, those crews will be headed right back behind me to some of the most devastated areas here in Putnam County along Highway 70. Crews right now have most of those areas blocked off. They say it's way too dangerous to be in that area while it's dark out. There are still power lines on the ground. There are all kinds of things on the ground, shingles that surround us here. This gas station behind me, the roof is torn off of it. So just you have to be very careful while you're out there, which is why officials are asking that if you don't need to be in these areas, do not be in these areas today. Here in Putnam County, at least 18 people are dead, 38 people still unaccounted for this morning. Officials are hoping that some of that is just a case of not being able to get a hold of them. Cell service has been very spotty here over the last few days since those tornadoes hit. If you are searching for a loved one, call call the county helpline. That number is 931-646-4630. Now, the National Weather Service says that this tornado touched down around 2 a.m. Central Time yesterday here in Putnam County. That's 3 our time here in Knoxville. TEMA has declared a state of emergency. Now, for those of us that are familiar with Cookeville, some of the hardest hit areas: Charlton Square, Plunk-Whitson Road, Echo Valley, Prosperity Point, North McBroom Chapel, and Double Springs Utility District. Those are just some of many areas that have been hit by this. Now, the College Side Church of Christ youth pastor Matt Collins and his family going through a tough time right now. His house was damaged in that tornado. He went to the hospital. He's out of surgery. His wife also went to the hospital. She's expected to recover, but his 2 daughters, one still missing this morning. The other is in the hospital with serious injuries. Last night, they held a vigil to pray for them.
I've lived here my whole life, so it's overwhelming. People are hurting, but the city, in an incredible way, is rallying and reaching out, and it's overwhelming. What a great community.
And that is a pastor from a different church on the Hill. That is where there are dozens of families. They're going to that church. They're hoping to find information about their missing loved ones. I talked to that pastor yesterday. He tells me he went to the hospital yesterday morning after this all happened, and it was absolute chaos. There were so many family members there looking for people. They couldn't find their loved ones. He said, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to open my church. You come here. The sheriff's office now coming there as well with latest information as they get those details. And one of the people, one of our crew members, one of the first on scene yesterday, Ashley Boley here in Putnam County. What was it like yesterday?
Yeah, definitely a state of despair, yet still hope in trying to find many of these people. You know, you mentioned some of these different districts that have been hit pretty hard, and I think one of them that I was really focusing on is the Double Springs Utility District over by Bloomington Road. That's where I was primarily located yesterday with a photographer, and we were able to talk with some people out there, give hugs, just talk with them and see and hear their stories, making sure that they're okay and they're safe. A lot of them telling me that their families are all safe. One man even telling me that he is just glad his wife is safe. He went to go check on his neighbors. That's Rodney Mathis. I know we've mentioned him a few times this morning. That's just because he was able just to tell us so much about what he went through during this, as many people's stories are starting to come to life a little bit more. Take a listen to what all he had to say.
I've lost everything, but you know what? It's not what you got, it's who you got. And we got a lot of good neighbors here, and we pulled together, and you'll see the community pull together and clean this up. You won't know it in a week.
He definitely has a lot of hope as for what's next. Of course, we want to see different people and meet with them in different areas today and talk about the volunteers needed, different things that you all are able to do at home to make sure that you can help, whether you're in Knoxville or the surrounding East Tennessee area, to help those people here in Middle Tennessee. And I think that's just something we've been talking about. This is something that extends and spans across this whole state.
It's incredible. I've met people from all over the state that are here. They want to help. They want to know how they can help. I think right now officials, they're just still trying to assess what exactly happened before they set a place and a time for all those donations to come in. But Ashley, as you mentioned, that is a reoccurring theme that we are seeing, and no surprise here in the volunteer state that these people who have lost so much, they are wanting to give back.
Exactly. They want to help their neighbors as soon as they know that their family is safe. They want to get to their neighbors.
Ashley, thank you. And just real quick, there are some shelters that are open for those who may be needing a place to go. They were established at the Cookeville Community Center, the Putnam County YMCA, and the Cookeville First Baptist Church. So if you need a place to stay, if you know someone that does, those are the places that are open for them on this chilly morning. Back to you all.
All right, Casey, thank you. I still, every time we see the drone video especially, the homes, it looks like toothpicks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it is amazing. Casey, we'll check in with you in just a few minutes. Thank you for that update. They were talking about how people can help. A lot of East Tennesseans especially are looking for any ways that they can lend a hand. There are 3 major ways you can help out: with your time, your money with the Red Cross, and supplies through other organizations like Knoxville Pays It Forward. They are collecting several items to be distributed in the next few days. Items like diapers, hygiene products, cleaning supplies, and they say the biggest thing they need right now are tarps and big plastic storage totes.
And they'll find contents of their house hundreds of feet down the road, across the street, and this gives them the opportunity to be able to go pick up legal documents, birth certificates, family mementos, pictures, and instead of them trying to gather it all in their arms, this gives them something to put it in.
That's a heartbreaking visual that she just painted for us there. We have a full list of how you can help people, the supply drop-off locations, all of that is in your WVLT News app. Well, through all of this destruction, we've been seeing one thing that's stuck out to a group of first responders.
Yeah, so our Robert Grant talked to one first responder in Putnam County who says he found 3 Bibles untouched in the middle of this devastation.
We've stumbled upon these Bibles here. There's several. Every Bible here we have found has not had a page missing in it. They're just a little damp, a little wet from the storm.
Yeah, they said that it's a sign that God was saving as many people as possible, making his presence felt there in Putnam County.
It's not too hard to figure out if you don't, think there's a good Lord above, and after seeing stuff like this, and kind of changes your mind.
And it is remarkable. We saw earlier the picture of the American flag that was sticking up in the middle of some of the rubble in Nashville. These Bibles untouched. Sometimes it's just little things like that, or things that can seem little in terms of what we found and what is left over, that can really boost morale when you really need it most.
Oh, sure. These are the pictures of hope that are coming out of disasters. In just such a hard time when you see the video of the destruction and then you hear these stories. So that's pretty incredible.
All right, well, it is 6:38. Let's get a check of your traffic on this Wednesday morning. Send things out to our Eye in the Sky Pete Michaels. Pete, what are you seeing so far?
Well, so far we're doing very well without any major problems, interstate, main, or secondaries. Yeah, believe it or not, still some debris that can catch your attention on some of the back roads. An early morning shot of the volume on the interstate. The tail lights you're looking at will be I-40, trying to come right through the heart of downtown Knoxville. Earlier I mentioned there was an overnight wreck at Tazewell Pike at Henniker. Now, I picked up some information that there could be lane restrictions in that area, but we're still trying to get more information on that. But right now, no need for an alternate. TDOT did a good job over the weekend getting caught up on pothole work, but just their luck. Had that rain come through yesterday, and again has opened up a few. Just got to be careful there. Pete Michaels, pilot, Harry Brittany, Heather, have a good day.
Thank you. You too, Pete. 6:39 now, kicking off the day here with a lot of clouds kind of reaching out. Even kind of for perspective here, you can see where those clouds are kind of reaching a little bit spotty into southeastern Kentucky. Some bands of clouds, middle part of our area and further south. This is actually how it looks on our webcam. So there's some of that mostly cloudy at times view in and out of our area. Mild temperatures. Actually, for this time of year, we're a few degrees above average, but it's just close enough to get that little bit of a chill. It's actually 34 though, Harlan, a lot colder than 37 Jacksboro, then 45 Knoxville, and even 50 Athens. The warm air is coming up from the south with those clouds, with some spotty showers. So kind of fan that back out, reach further north with that warmth later. Winds are still kind of turning around a bit today. We've got a cold front on the way, so the winds are going to keep turning the next couple of days before we get to the cold wind in the week. So right now, what you're feeling is more of the chill in southeastern Kentucky. Even wind chill's 25 right now, Monticello. But then you have that 50 that feels like 50 in Athens, right? So that's where that light breeze every so often makes it feel colder the further north you live, especially. But those clouds continue to reach further north, kind of bringing up kind of a stray drizzle shower into southeastern Kentucky. We'll do a better job of kind of sharing the clouds area wide, really becoming cloudy this afternoon to evening with some isolated showers. So a little drizzle, a little light rain today. Evening starts reaching closer to that Tennessee-Kentucky line, and then tomorrow, kind of similar case. We'll have a few showers reaching up into our area. So in that forecast where you live today, we can bump up the temperatures area-wide. Still low to mid-50s across the Tennessee-Kentucky line by lunch. Upper 50s, kind of sliding into these low 60s this afternoon. Around 62 Knoxville, 59 Crossville, 60 Middlesboro, 59 in Hartford. As I mentioned, those winds turning. Today, kind of a light breeze, a little bit more so outlining the valley. Turn those winds around, start flowing in from a colder northerly flow as that front moves in late tomorrow. So I'll show you what that means for showers and dropping temperatures coming up at 6:48.
All right, Heather, thank you. Well, we have much more news, weather, and traffic coming up this morning over on WBXX. Our Alan Williams is joining us now with a look at what's coming up on the CW. Good morning, Alan.
And good morning. And of course, we continue our team coverage from Middle Tennessee and the aftermath of the tornadoes. We've got a number of crews out. We'll check in with them throughout the morning on the CW. Yeah, and there's a number of heartbreaking stories. One close to Nashville we're going to bring you of an 80-plus-year-old couple. They lived in Mount Juliet, spent most of their lives living there, and made such an impact in that town. One person you'll hear from knew them growing up as a little girl, and now she's mourning their deaths. So sad here. Those stories plus all your weather and traffic details to get you started on this late morning commute starting on WBXX.
All right, Alan, thank you very much. Well, concerns of the coronavirus continue across the U.S. Hear what a Tennessee senator has to say about containing it. Welcome back to WVLT News this morning. We will have more coverage on the devastating tornadoes that killed dozens in a few minutes. But first, we do want to talk about another concern here, the coronavirus.
Oh, yes. Our Alan Williams is joining us now from the newsroom. Alan, you have the latest details on this.
Yeah, absolutely. North Carolina now has its first case of coronavirus, and now officials are trying to track down anyone who was in contact with the state's first patient. Governor Roy Cooper announced the first case yesterday afternoon. The first confirmed case in the state is from Wake County, North Carolina. The person just returned from a trip from Washington State where 6 people have died from the virus. The patient is now in isolation in their home. Now, Tennessee Senator Lamar Alexander released a statement on the coronavirus. He says while the number of cases rises in the U.S., nothing compared to the rest of the world. He credits federal officials for their action to contain the virus.
Our job is to get accurate information to the American people so they can deal with this, and to find out what we in Congress need to do to make sure that our healthcare professionals are properly funded.
Now, there are still no confirmed cases in Tennessee, but health officials say you should expect maybe some coming in the coming days. Harry, Brittany?
It's really scary, especially when it's in our neighboring states and the numbers continue to grow. Alan, thank you.
All right, well, WVLT is proud to be the official station of the Vols. Last night, without a doubt, the Vols' biggest win of the season.
Yeah, that was a good one. We needed that one. Team beating number 6-ranked Kentucky Wildcats 81-73. And the team, I didn't see it until this morning, so and I actually, Harry, you told me the number. I was like, what's the score of the Kentucky game? The Tennessee-Kentucky game, and you told me, and I thought it was the other way around. Well, the team was led by an awesome performance by junior John Fulkerson, who's been awesome this season and had a career-high 27 points. Fulky making 10 of his 15 shots that he took last night and did not miss from the free throw line. Fulkerson is from nearby Kingsport. The Vols' last game of the regular season is a tough one. It's Saturday at noon. It's a home game against Auburn.
Only gets tougher from here on out.
I know. Yeah.
Exactly.
Stop with the negativity, Harry. We won last night.
That's what I said. She was this morning. She was like, I was like, yeah, we got to win the rest of them. She was like,
yeah,
what does that matter? And
okay.
Like, we won, Brittany.
I didn't realize.
We won.
I was a little late to that party, but
we were attempting to sleep. It was kind of a long day yesterday. So I'm sure a lot of folks are kind of waking up going, oh, okay. I needed to hear that good news this morning. 6:48 now. Hopefully I have some more good news for you when it comes to the fact that the weather is a lot quieter. Now, we do have some clouds. Actually, you can see kind of reach further north. A couple of specks of rain reaching in that Campbell-Anderson County line. A couple of specks, Fentress, Morgan. Light rain reaching the southern valley, southern Smokies. There's a couple of light showers out there. Like I said, I really did carry in my rain jacket, just kind of ready to go if I get one of those showers today where I am. Temperatures will keep warming, actually kind of pull that north too, along with the clouds and the spotty rain. So it's 50 in Athens now to 45 Knoxville to 35 Middlesboro. Don't worry, we'll kind of nudge those 30s out for now before the colder air really drops in the week. So your forecast comes down today being a mild day. A few degrees above average morning, and afternoon. So we'll be at 57 by noon, high today 62, becoming mostly cloudy, sticking with spotty showers for now because the rain is mainly staying to our south. So tomorrow it actually just sends up a few more showers in the afternoon, and then as that cold air loops in, that's where we'll catch a few snow showers in the Smokies Friday. So looking at it here at home, you can see where today's 60s, tomorrow's 50s. Now a few showers. Right now we're looking at some spotty light rain in the morning and then catching a few scattered showers midday to afternoon tomorrow. But we just don't warm up as much. We're locked into those 40s, or 50s, excuse me. But then Friday we really do stop in the 40s with that chill, and the light snowfall hits the mountains of Harlan County, kind of grazes the Tri-Cities, and then Smokies as well. It is still some light snowfall, but that chill settles in for the weekend to start. Notice we quickly bounce back though. We start warming back up ahead of the next front that does look to bring in some good rain at times Tuesday to Wednesday of next week.
Coming up, Super Tuesday results and reaction. How a strong showing by Joe Biden could impact the Democratic race. Plus, devastation in Tennessee. We talk to families picking up the pieces after deadly tornadoes. Coming up on CBS This Morning.
6:52 on this Wednesday morning. Let's get a check of your morning commute with our Eye in the Sky, Pete Michaels. Pete, good morning.
Here we go. Good morning. For the most part, we're doing very well here in the interstate. If you look at some TDOT cameras, you see the volume is way up. No interstate wrecks. TDOT doing the best they can, keeping up with the potholes. Did a lot of work on Saturdays. It made a big difference, but with some of the heavier rain, some of the bigger potholes popping up again. And taking a quick look at traffic flow up considerably now. Inbound Western Avenue, Oak Ridge Highway, and of course coming in most sections of Kingston Pike. Pete Michaels, pilot. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
25 people are dead and dozens more are still missing this morning after tornadoes ripped through Middle Tennessee.
Nowhere hit harder than Putnam County. That's where we find our own Casey Wheelis this morning. Casey?
Yeah, good morning, you guys. We're waiting for 8 o'clock this morning. That is when, or 9 o'clock your time there in Knoxville. That is when crews are going to start reassessing the area. They got through 60% yesterday before the sun went down. They want to make sure they get through all of that today. Things are a little easier now that it's drying out a bit, and we're hoping for some sunshine to help with those recovery efforts. Unfortunately, this morning there are still 38 people still missing here in Putnam County alone. Officials are hoping that that's because we can't get a hold of some of them. Cell service is very spotty here in these areas. Now, we are in Cookeville, in between the communities of Cookeville and Baxter here on Highway 70. Crews do have the area behind me blocked off because of the damage. It's just too dangerous to go through there. They are asking everyone, if you don't need to be in these areas, to please stay away and do not hinder any of their recovery efforts. And actually, they let Abby Kasoris through. She is getting a look at some of the damage there. Abby, good morning.
Yeah, just in the last few minutes, we've started to see what we believe are military tanks coming to this area, trying to provide any aid that they can here and help local law enforcement as well as law enforcement from other counties. Now, they've been here searching the area since yesterday, trying to see if they can find any of the missing people that they say used to live in these homes that are still missing here. And you can just see this is one of the hardest hit areas. We're on Plunk-Whitson Road, and you can see this house behind me. You can see into this person's living room. Right now we're seeing on the road and on the ground here different debris from people's houses, their own personal belongings, as well as decorations that used to belong in those homes. Now, law enforcement will be out here today continuing to search, whether it's for people or different belongings here, but they say now that it's started to be light out here, this is really when they're going to start looking around. They have different crews out here and will continue to be out here today trying to see what they're catching up on here. Reporting in Cookeville, Abby Kasoris, WVLT News.
Abby, thank you. Well, if you have a chainsaw, know how to use it, you can help with this cleanup. Volunteers they're asking to meet up at the old Hobby Lobby on South Jefferson Avenue in Cookeville this morning. You can also donate to the Tennessee Red Cross. And President Trump announced he will be coming to Tennessee on Friday. He says the federal government working to help those affected by the tornadoes. He says FEMA already assisting in Middle Tennessee. And we're obviously going to have a lot more on this, continuing our coverage over on WBXX. Heather, we were just talking about how crazy it is, but much needed for the first responders, folks trying to clean up, that we do have clear skies.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, that will also give them a chance to go out and assess the damage. The Cookeville tornado has not been rated yet. That's because the National Weather Service needed to wait for that time to get in there. I know they're still in recovery mode, so hopefully we'll get an update today, just like you're seeing here from Putnam County.
All right, that'll do it for us this morning. We're headed on over to WBXX with the latest on the Middle Tennessee tornadoes. Have a good day.